everyone, welcome back to my channel, Mingby and I. My name is Mandy and I am a full-time reseller. On today's video, I'm going to go over what sold on 4 different platforms: Poshmark, Mercari, eBay, and Depop for the week of November 18th through the 24th. I will say this week was not good. I am hoping that it is just because people are, gearing up for Thanksgiving, maybe spending their money on the meal, travel, something along those lines, because it is a little bit concerning. I will get to more of my thoughts at the end of the video on that. But this week on Poshmark, I did send out 40% off offers on some older inventory. I did do closet clear out, I think like 120 items. And I don't believe anything sold on either of those. On eBay, I ran a 50% off sale on some older stuff. I had one sale from that. A lot of people were watching it. I'm assuming they thought maybe it would go, even cheaper. I had people sending me offers in addition to the 50% off that I just, kindly let them know that unfortunately this was already 50% off and there was not going to be any additional offers considered. And then on Depop, I do have some things, I think 20% off right now. So we will get into the actual listings that sold. I'll scoot over here. Starting with Poshmark, this was an American Eagle, like longer length cardigan, button front. Let's see. This one was a size large. I believe that this came from the bins. I don't foresee myself paying up for this by any means. And this went for $22. This is a Vince jacket. I got this from the place where I had that booth. I've been finding some pretty decent brands there. I picked up some Mother jeans, I think, for $15. This jacket was $15. It did have quite a few flaws. Like, I think there was some cuts in the leather. What else was wrong with this? Some of the buttons were loose, and yeah, there were some issues with the leather in some places. This was very steampunk. It had some military vibes going. It was a little bit longer length of a jacket. Vince is a pretty good brand, especially in their leather pieces. This one, with all of the flaws, someone did offer me $70 for this, which I thought was great. I paid $15. Next up is Knox Rose. This I picked up at the bins. It was new with tags, kind of a grungier tie-dye top. This one did go for an offer of only $15. In the future, I am telling myself I'm no longer picking up this brand unless it is like longer, intricate maxi dresses. The only way I would consider it is if I maybe found a bunch of new with tag items that were all the same size and I could lot them together. Otherwise, these smaller ones, it's just not worth my time or space for them. Next up is Lucky Brand jeans. These I picked up. I did not notice that there was a small hole in the back, like by the calf. I figured if anything, someone could use these for work jeans. They still looked decent except for that small hole. I think I had them listed for $18. Someone offered me $13. I figured, I don't know if someone's gonna come and offer me anything or buy these at any point, so I figured I better just take it. These were picked up at the bins, probably sold within about a month. Next up is Nina Leonard. I have sold this exact same cardigan in different colors and different sizes, I think 4 times now. It has a really big chunky buttons in the front. This one was an extra large and it did go for an offer of $20. Next up is Yogi Pace. I had never heard of this brand before. It was at the bins. It was new with tags. It looks similar to Beta brand, kind of the same type of feel, really stretchy, really comfortable. These were a size medium, so I thought I would give these a try and see how it went. They did end up going for an offer of $20. As Eileen Fisher, this was another bins pickup. That seems to be where most of my inventory is coming from these days. It just is right now the best bang for my buck. A lot of the stuff that's in the thrift stores is either way overpriced or there's just really nothing left by the time it comes on sale. So back to this listing, it was like a really dark navy blue, sequin all over it, was silk. It was a large, which you don't always find in Eileen Fisher. This one did go for $28. And then the last item to sell on Poshmark were these loft high-rise pants. I picked these up in the summer. They were a wide leg, kind of like a hot pink color in a size 31. They did go for an offer of $24. And then the only sale this week on Mercari was a pair of Torrid pull-on pants. Yeah, size 2X. These were new with tags, just kind of like a khaki color. I got these at Goodwill for $3.99 on clearance. They did go for $24, but I've probably had these since at least summer. Now on eBay, this was, if you guys watched that video where I showed you all of my dad's and grandparents' old stuff, this was that flip compass, the brass compass. It did go for an offer of $35.99, probably sold within 3 weeks. Title IX, I had just told myself I haven't found this brand in a really long time, and then I found like 3 dresses within a couple days of saying that, and they've all sold fairly quickly. This one took the longest, which was surprising because it is long sleeved, and that's kind of where we're at right now. This one did go for an offer of $25. Next up is a vintage Homer Laughlin. I don't know the brand. I got this at the Goodwill bins. When did I go? Must have been like September maybe. This one did end up going for an offer of $20. This is another item from my mom's couponing supply. This is Tresemme dry shampoo, 2 of these, and they did go for an offer of $20. I talked about this last week. This style of top has been like flying out of my closets and stores. This is Maurice's. That is the brand that I am finding this the most in. It's kind of like this swirly pattern. I've been using the keywords cyber goth, grungecore, emo is another good one for this style. This one was picked up at the bins. It probably weighed like 4 ounces, and it did go for an offer of $18. This also came from my dad's stuff. This was a baby fork and spoon set. I believe they're silver plated. It did go for $8.99. I didn't have any cost of goods in any of these items. It was just my time of researching the items and listing. Like I said in that haul video, I would prefer to just get them to a different home than, send them to Goodwill or something and have them end up in the trash. So I'm happy that someone, wanted this. Next up was the only item that sold in my 50% off offer. This was a Zelda shirt. I bought this when I was still kind of playing with the live sales when I did the graphic t-shirts. This was picked up at the bins. Probably had this since like the beginning of summer, trying to clear some of that out. I am in the process of doing inventory. I'm about halfway done. So a lot of those items I am just slashing prices on. This was a vintage 70s like blouse jacket type deal. I know it has a name, but I can't think of it right now. It tied in the front, and this one did go for an offer of $20, picked up at the bins. This was also from my dad's stuff. This was my grandma's. It was a Virgin Mary like plastic statue type of thing, and this one did go for $9. This vest from Origami has had so much interest on Depop. There was probably over like 300 likes on this thing. No one wanted to pay $25 for it. I had it listed for $30. I think I went down, like the lowest was $24, and no one would pay for it. So someone offered me $25 on eBay, and I was glad to accept it. These were a pair of Tommy Bahama blue linen pants. I've had these for probably a year. Would I get them again? Probably not. Tommy Bahama, I am being very selective on. I'm mainly picking up women's pieces, seem to be doing better for me. If I could find some really elaborate men's like silk Hawaiian shirts, I would consider it, obviously looking up comps. But for the most part, men's Tommy Bahama, I am leaving behind. So this one did go for an offer of $24. Now on to Depop. I knew this Coldwater Creek item would sell. This one was like a kimono, this really pretty, almost like buttery yellow with the floral pattern. This one did go for an offer of $32, probably sold within a couple weeks. Also a bins pickup. These jeans were also a bins pickup. The brand was Vine and Rant. I had never heard of it. It seemed maybe kind of like a cheaper brand. I bought these thinking that I would list them. If they didn't sell within a couple months, I would send them to Plato's. It's exactly what they're looking for. These had a huge flare on them. I think they were a size, 13, so a little bit bigger. And these did end up going for an offer of $25. Next up is another one of those cyber goth type shirts. This was picked up at the bins. This one I don't even know what the brand was. It had a weird tag on it. And this went for the price of $20. This fossil belt I got at the Goodwill bins, same time I got that bowl. This had some brown cutouts. It was very Y2K leather, and this one did go for an offer of $20. And then the last item to sell on Depop was a Maurice's like vest type of deal, like a vest jacket almost. It had a hood on it. It was zip front. I believe it buttoned in the front too. Very grunge, goth, emo, that kind of look. This one sold, I think, within 2 weeks for an offer of $23.80. So looking at the totals for this week, Poshmark, $212 for 8 items sold. Mercari, 24 items for 1 item sold. eBay, $291.85 for 11 items sold. Depop, $120 for 5 items sold. So my gross sales for the week were $647.85. And after I take out average cost of goods and all my fees and everything from the platforms, that leaves me with $407.60 for 25 items sold. So with that being said, that just really is not working for me, and I am trying to figure out what my game plan is. If you have followed me in the past and you've watched my videos, I've said this before I quit my full-time job, which was probably a year and a half ago at this point, I made sure that I had in my savings account 1 full year of that job's pay. So that if times like this where I am not making the amount of money that I need, if I need to go in that savings account, I can. So far I have been, very lucky that I don't need to. But if this continues with how it's going, I am going to start having to go into that savings account, that's what it's there for. This is not like my other savings that I have. This is strictly for my business, to kind of be a crutch when things are slow. This is the very first time that I am truly nervous about the future. In the past, it's always kind of been, it's summer slowdown, it's this, it's that. Without being completely political here, I am very fearful for what the future is going to hold, just economy-wise. We can have different opinions on, other things, but I'm nervous, honestly. When we talk about these tariffs, which the next administration just announced, I believe it was last night, he put something out. I know there are a lot of people that are saying, that will just make things be manufactured in the United States, which fine, that's great. The only issue with that is it's not like that can just magically happen overnight. In order to have these big manufacturing plants, you need to have them, have things in them. You need workers in there. You need to have items that you are now going to have to purchase from other countries because we don't make all of that here. So that's also going to be hit with the tariffs. With that being said, companies are already raising prices. It's no different than when eBay or something like that is deciding that they're going to raise our fees. We build that into the price, and ultimately the customer is going to pay more. That's just how it is, because businesses are not going to just say, oh, who cares? We'll just lose 30%. That's just not going to happen. So what am I fearful of? I am fearful because if that is really truly going to happen, people are not going to have extra money to spend on clothing, and that's mainly what I am selling. People are, if they think it's bad now, when prices were finally kind of going down from inflation, I don't know what to expect. Like I said, I don't want this to be a huge political thing, but I am nervous about this. If I would need to get another job, that's another thing that's going to make me nervous, because if they truly are going to slash all of these government jobs and get rid of half of that, half of those workers, then that's also going to be a domino effect, because now you're going to have a whole bunch more people that are being thrown into the job market that need to find a job. And where are these jobs just going to magically come from? So now you're looking at, potential households where they don't have an income at all, or only one. So that's going to hurt the bottom line of people being able to spend money on clothing. Or if I need to personally go find a job, that's just not going to be as easy as it once was. So there's a lot of uncertainty, and that makes me very nervous. So without being a total doom and gloom, I guess, on this video, I'm just letting you know that I'm nervous and I don't know what to expect for reselling. There are some people saying, oh, it's going to be great because, jeans at Walmart are going to be $50 and now people will come and buy secondhand. I think people are going to hold on to what they have for clothing and just wear it. If they need to spend money on main essential items, clothing is normally going to be the last, thing there. I know there are people in the United States that do have money, they have great jobs, and, you know, they can spend it on whatever, but I don't know that that's going to keep all of us resellers afloat. That has really been like diminishing my, I don't even know what I want to say, like ambition to do this job right now, because I just feel like with how it hasn't been exactly, you know, the numbers I want to see. And in the past, we could always kind of be like, oh, it's going to get better. We're getting to Q4. Well, now we're at Q4 and my numbers are worse than they were before. Some people are like, oh, it's going to be better after January. I don't know that that's true because of how I am seeing what the economy and how this is all going to pan out is going to happen. So I don't know. It's just really been affecting my mood. That has been kind of spiraling into my business where I am just not have any ambition to list. Thrifting isn't very enjoyable for me now. YouTube, it's been like pulling teeth for me to try and be like, let's make a video, you know, because I am very, very worried about what's going to happen. So as of now, I was originally going to say I was going to just not have any videos come out in December, just to kind of, you know, get my mental health back to something that's a little bit better than it currently is. I know that I can't do anything to fix what is going to happen right now, and what's going to happen is going to happen, and I'm trying to mentally and, you know, deal with that and prepare as much as I can. But it's very scary when this is my job, this is my income, this is my main source of income. I'm nervous about losing my health insurance, so it's just a lot right now. And I'm sure there's going to be some people are like, you can't worry about it, you know, it's going to be fine, he's going to do great. I don't believe that, so this is where I currently am. With that being said, I was going to just not do any in December. So I have decided I will continue just my what sold videos for December and just kind of see where I'm at. Maybe I will throw in a video on Monday. It's just right now, I mentally am just not in the mindset whatsoever to be making YouTube videos. So I know if I can kind of keep somewhat of a normal schedule and do my what sold videos, that will maybe help me a little bit. So I am trying to take it one day at a time, but it's just hard to have any type of hope that this business is going to get better. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, like on your thoughts of what is going to happen in reselling. It's definitely different than it was, you know, 3-4 years ago when people had a little bit more extra money to just kind of spend on whatever they want. Clothing is so oversaturated. There's so many people that do clothing just because it's probably the easiest to find and ship. I've said this before, I'm trying to get more into hard goods. Those items seem to sell quicker for me than clothing. But I just don't have, I don't have anywhere in my area where I can get consistently good hard goods. Maybe I need to try rummage sales in the summer more often. I'm just not a huge person that likes to go to them. It's always so awkward when the people are sitting there, and sometimes prices are super high. And if you don't have a bunch of sales like right next to each other, then you're driving all around town. So that's not a huge, you know, thing for me. I don't have a Goodwill bins by me. That would be, you know, helpful if I did. The place I have is only clothing, so that helps me in that aspect. But as far as hard goods goes, I just don't really, you know, have that opportunity. I will continue to try and find some sort of hope each day in the business to continue. Right now, I do not want to get another job. That does not sound appealing to me at all. So I am going to continue reselling. I am doing what I need to do. I'm doing my 15 listings each day. It's hard to, I'm sure a lot of you understand. I'm sure a lot of you agree. It's very hard to continue doing something when it feels like every time you get ahead a little bit, like you're in some sort of glass mirror house and you get a little bit further ahead and then you slap into some sort of glass wall. Then it's like, okay, we got to pivot, we got to do style-based sourcing now. Okay, we're a little bit ahead and then we slam into a glass wall. Then it's something else and you pivot and it's like nothing seems to just be working. So that is very frustrating, which I'm sure all of us can definitely feel. If you've stayed this long in the video, thank you for letting me kind of rant to you guys. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving, and if you enjoyed today's video, please make sure to give it a like. It really helps out the channel, and I really appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!